So I think another really important reason to use restorative practices is because it aligns to so many other initiatives. And some of these initiatives might be going on in your building or in the district. And if we can ease the burden of so many new initiatives and just align that work, it so decreases the burden on our teachers and leaders to try to implement these things. So I want to show how restorative practice align to some of the bigger initiatives I know that are out there. For example, social emotional learning. So it aligns so well to SEL and those 5 competencies. Another key initiative is trauma-informed schools work, or trauma responsive practices. Now, restorative practices does so much to support students impacted by trauma, right? When you look at students that are impacted by trauma and adults impacted by trauma, predictability is a huge strategy. Staying regulated is a huge strategy. Building relationships is a huge strategy, right? When harm and conflict happen, when, a kiddo is reacting to some stress, right? And they become dysregulated, we're going to have to address that. And so empowering kids to address that is a way that we can really effectively handle discipline and then repairing the harm and conflict. Using restorative practices, I think, does that so much better. Punitive punishment, adults getting really angry and dysregulated themselves and handing down the massive punishment. Unfortunately, are kids impacted by adverse childhood experience, things that they've experienced in the home? That's what they're expecting. And lastly, I think equity is a big initiative going on right now. And we know the research is very clear that our BIPOC communities and our special education students are disproportionately suspended or expelled from school. The great thing about restorative practices, when this becomes part of your community, everybody's doing this. Everybody has a chance to engage in restorative practices. Everyone has voice, the harmer and the harmed, right? Everyone is allowed to go through this process to make things right, to feel valued in their community, to feel like, okay, I can own my behavior, but now I'm going to do something to fix it, right? If that's what you're doing, if that's the way you do business, then it is an equitable practice. So I hope you see that restorative practices really can help give strategies to align to those 3 different initiatives, and then it decreases the burden and the work and the money and the time to do a new initiative, where really what we can do is really look at what's working in a school community and use some of those restorative practices to just help those along.